Hello, all you lovely Geminis out there. I go by Venusian Vibes, and I'm here to do your love and spirituality reading for September. So I've already shuffled for you guys. I'm just going to part the deck, get a look at your past energies, and then do our layout for our September reading, okay? Okay. This is kind of strange. I'm feeling a double part here. So I'm going to just see what this card is. Okay. So we have the Ace of Wands here. Definitely a brand new beginning kind of sweeping in for you guys right now. This is like a spark of passion that's coming from within. It's like a connection to the divine, a connection to your own fire within that is going to be guiding you in a new direction, or in a direction that you've been wanting to go for a while but just haven't had the audacity, I guess, or you just haven't been able to go through with it. So now it's here in its purest form, and you're really ready to maybe take this to the next level, but we'll see. Okay. So it looks like there's someone in your past, and it could be you guys, who has been feeling very sort of trapped, but trapped by your own devices. If you've been dealing with someone who is very kind of cold and not very giving with their time and energy as much as you would like, it's because they're feeling very, very stuck inside, not really knowing what direction to take. Sort of the opposite of the energy I was just seeing before with the Ace of Wands. For you, what you've started to think, if you are dealing with a person who's like this, what you've started to think recently is that the only way to really get a sense of justice from this situation is to completely block them out and put up your bars and your barriers so that they can't kind of get in there and do what they've been doing, which is unclear with so far, but it seems to have hurt you. So I'm seeing that for you, your sense of integrity comes from sort of blocking them out of your life and being very restrictive with who you grant access to in your life. Okay. So I'm going to get your layout going now for September. Underlining energy is the Tower. That's pretty strong energy right there. I will read more into this as I start pulling these cards, okay? All right. Five of Swords in the reverse. So this is sort of how you're going to be feeling throughout the month of September, sort of that core of what you're going through internally. And it seems like a release of a way you used to handle things, which, as can be seen here, it seems to be about getting sort of about, how do I say this? Like, not necessarily defeating your opponent as you see them, but getting one over on them. sort of showing that you're more in control, that you're more cold, and that you can be standoffish, and then whatever their energies they're throwing at you that you don't like or that hurts you, you kind of return tenfold, or at least try to return it equally. But for you, it doesn't bring really any happiness to do it this way. I think you've been kind of noticing that it doesn't really bring you any happiness, and that this sort of tit for tat, like responding, acting, like mirroring, that's the word I was trying to get. This other person, what's the point really? Where is it getting you? Okay. So you have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. So there's a lot of disappointment here that you're going to be feeling, and I'm sorry to say it. I don't, want you to be going through this, but there's definitely, if you haven't already been feeling it, which probably a lot of you guys have, going on into September, there's definitely going to be a sense of disappointment with where you're at in life with your family and your connections, and you're just not feeling strong connections right now. And this is in general, and also with a love partner, someone you're interested in, you're not feeling that connection the way you wish you did, and the disappointment's so strong that it's pretty painful. It is pretty painful for you guys. Okay, let's see here. So you have the Eight of Pentacles. It looks like you're going to be focusing a lot on your work or project that you have going as a way to kind of avoid the feelings that you're having. You're feeling, because you're feeling kind of isolated and void of these strong connections you'd like to have. You're really throwing yourself into whatever work or project you have going. This person, he's working hard, and yeah, he's getting things done. He's being methodical and careful, and he's putting all his attention into his project. So that's an ability you guys have, which is to kind of turn off the emotions and go into work and focus on it entirely. So that's kind of what's going on. But he, as hard as working as he is alone in this picture. But he's not exactly choosing connection over work, is he? So that might be a message for someone. Okay. So it looks like a lot of you guys might be feeling especially disappointed because you're not receiving any communication from someone significant in your life. And since this is a 10 of Pentacles, this refers much more to an entire family unit and connections in general, sense of community, than it does to a single person. So when I say you haven't been getting any calls from someone specifically or communication from them, it could easily be you haven't been really getting or receiving any calls or having people try to connect with you in your family in general and your community. You feel like you don't have a strong community, and you feel like that energy is not coming in for you. So there's a lot of cards here indicating a sense of loneliness, and your way of combating that is to kind of not only build a wall, which we see here, but it's also to sort of have that mentality of, I don't need these people anyway, I'm better off on my own. So that's sort of a defense mechanism. If you feel yourself going into that energy, maybe just remember, everybody needs connection, and it does hurt to feel isolated and to feel alone. And if people aren't reaching out to me, instead of maybe saying, to hell with them anyway, what do I need them for? You might even think back to all the times that they've hurt you as a way to sort of not care anymore, that you're not really feeling those connections as much as you were. And it could also be because of physical distance or an inability to actually see people right now. But there's definitely a lot of disappointment and sadness surrounding a lack of communication across the board. Okay, the Emperor. So this is going more into your energy of and it's relating to what's up here too, which is just what I was saying, which is it's someone who's kind of standing alone. And as you see, the landscape behind him is very deserted and kind of barren. And so there's not a lot of liveliness happening, and in an ecosystem, everything's working together, but there's not really an ecosystem in that sense here, not in that sense of all this growth and organisms relating to each other and sort of that pulse that connects them all together. That's not what this landscape brings energetically. So it's definitely someone who's kind of on an iceberg and just saying to hell with everybody anyway. So far, I haven't actually gotten the energy of one specific person who you're having this dynamic with. But for some of you, it definitely is about a single connection that you're having. For some of you guys, you just have to know based on your own life. This is a general reading, so however it fits in for you guys. Okay, King of Pentacles in the reverse. Interesting. So sitting next to the Emperor and above this Eight of Pentacles, it's looking like this is a person who is so focused on their coin that they are ignoring the other people in their life. I would say that this could be a situation where you're doing this and you're focusing on your coin, on what you have going in your life in a financial sense, but so is also the people in your life, and they're doing the same thing. There seems to be a huge focus on security here, and sort of like a take no prisoners kind of mentality. It's a little bit brutalist, and I'm wondering why is this giving you a sense of justice? What's happened where you feel like they're okay, so I'm not hearing from them, so guess what? They're never going to hear from me again. So what is that? Where is that coming from? Kind of with the Tower here, it does look like something specifically might have happened for some of you guys. There might have been a specific incident that was so hurtful. And this is for those of you, well, this could be something about a family unit too. It could be something about a family unit separating, or just you separating with a partner. And it was horrible, it was terrible, and everything blew up in your face. And so now this is the kind of energy you're in, but you're really just trying to protect your heart. Though to other people looking in, you're trying to just protect your coin, right? You're trying to focus on work and on security. Maybe you're not feeling very secure in your life and your finances right now, and so that's what's kind of driving you to put aside being any connections that you're having right now. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to use a new deck to sort of get some advice for you, and also a conclusion for how we're going to be closing out this month for you guys in September. And if you're interested in any of the decks I've used, I'm going to put them down in the description box below. I kind of want to ask, actually, instead of a conclusion, I kind of want to ask why, get a little bit more into why this energy is so like prevalent here in your spread. So I'm going to ask why. So, okay, the creator and intensity. It looks like a lot of you guys have some pretty profound goals that you're trying to meet right now. And anybody who's not helping you work towards those goals is kind of just getting cut out of your life. That's what I'm getting from those two cards. I think you guys really want deep down to have a lot of people asking you if you're okay and kind of having more of that intimate emotional connection with people where there's like specifically like the people caring for you around you. And I think you have felt really disappointed with how people aren't coming through for you. For some of you, there has been an incident that has been very traumatic for you, maybe an illness in the family, or you've lost something like your house. So something that's made you feel very insecure, or something's happened and you were expecting a lot of people to come forward and help you out or ask you if you're okay, and you didn't really get what you had wanted. So now your sole focus is kind of on yourself and creating the life that you want, bar none, without the involvement of others. So I'm just going to get some advice for you guys. I think there's definitely a lot of ambition here. That's what I'm seeing from these two cards. A lot of ambition. And that's not a bad thing. But it can be lonely, trying to focus so much on work. Okay, so it looks like you got two cards for advice. I'll take both of them. And this is very much playing into what I've already been talking about here, you guys. It's your advice is participation, and this is projections. It's about noticing how the way you see other people behaving is actually how you're behaving. So you might see other people as being distant and not communicating with you, but look into whether you're actually being like that towards other people. And it looks here like you've actually, for at least one person in your life, have specifically made the decision to be like that because you felt like that would be how you get justice with them. But for those of you who haven't really consciously done that, you're not really noticing that there's a lot of mirrored behavior happening here. And however you are perceiving other people is actually how you're being too. If you're not participating, how can other people participate when you're not open to participation? So maybe look into why you're not open for it. How have you been hurt, and how can you really address that in a more constructive way so you're not left without a support system. Everybody needs a support system. And even this King of Pentacles here, and this can be you. It might be someone else in your life, though, and this might be the person who's mirroring your behavior. If you guys have a significant other who you are having this dynamic with, as opposed to like a whole family. So this person and this person, you and your person are both behaving in the same way. You're both not participating with each other, and you're projecting the same trait. You guys both are doing the same thing, but just sort of focusing on how the other person is letting you down. So that's definitely going to be something to look into more. And if you really kind of pinpoint that and see how maybe it's a defense mechanism, or how can you maybe reach out and initiate things and do things a little better and talk more personally. I know it's not easy, especially with the energy I'm seeing here. There's definitely a fear of doing that. Everything I just said, like, it's kind of like a scary thing to do, because the energy is so different from that. Like, actually changing that energy to such an extent where you're kind of behaving in the opposite way, going into an opposite vibe, that's always difficult. But it's definitely something to think about, to feel into, I should say. Feeling into it is going to be more efficient than thinking, especially with a Gemini. You know, you guys are air sign, and you're very analytical for that reason, very intellectual. And so for you guys, thinking about all this is not doing you any good, and it's definitely not doing you the justice that you think it is. It's more that you have to feel into it, and what walls are you putting around your heart, and how does that really feel to have those walls there? And how much is it blocking you from actually experiencing connections with people? So that's just some food for thought. Going into September, some energies that are going to be kind of challenging, and how you can navigate them. And you know, if you really need to just focus on work right now, then go for it. If that's going to make you feel more secure, then that's great. But maybe also think about ways to sort of break the ice and get back to talking to the important people in your life, okay? Yeah, so I hope September is great for you guys, and I wish you all the best, okay? All right, love and light.